Happy World Pharmacist Day! This is a video dedication to wish all of my fellow pharmacists practicing around the world. I just wish you all the best of luck, all the health. Coming from a pharmacist practicing in the UK, from my own personal experience, you might see that the career that you're doing is not very recognizable. That's when we're looking at the external force. But if you're looking at the internal forces that contributing, you are contributing to a patient's journey to optimize their quality of life or to help them get better, because you are the medicine expert. You're contributing your knowledge to help them recover much faster from their condition. You are part of a larger multidisciplinary team. Don't get me wrong, there are some days that you feel like actually the workload is a bit overwhelming and your work is not really get appreciated by patients or by other healthcare professionals, but that brain of ours will always going to be focusing on the negative thing. We just need to look at it from a higher perspective, knowing that actually we are the key worker. We have the privilege to contribute to others, to all of the pharmacy students that pursuing your degree. I promise you it's worth it on the other side. From my own experience practicing as a pharmacist in the last 4 years, I love my job. I love to be able to contribute the knowledge that I've gathered and make an impact into somebody else's quality of life. We're actually so fortunate to have that first contact, so easy first contact to patient, to give them their first advice. As a trusted profession, we have the option to be able to refer them, to treat them in the pharmacy or refer them to other healthcare professionals. I had one of the elderly gentlemen and he had several falls at home. He didn't manage to get an appointment with the GP, and I was just giving him the hearing, to be there to listen to his own concern. I knew that he was in pain and giving him some paracetamol. He sat in the chair, and afterward I asked him how does he feel, and he said, oh yes, whatever tiny pill that you've given me, it's really helpful. And even though it was just a small pill, he felt so much better. And he actually said, I've gone through so many people, I've seen so many doctors and did all of examination, and no one fixed my dizziness, and you have managed to help me. He even came back the next day to say thank you for spending the time and actually listen to his concern. Little thing like that warmed my heart. It made me forget about all the challenges that we had to go through, all the workload, all the stress. I can just remind myself that yes, I've managed to make an impact, even if just to one person, and make them feel better, make them feel valued, make them feel like they was listened to. From my experience in different sectors, we feel like healthcare sector getting ever so busy with all our workload. We see patient by patient, prescription by prescription, and then forget to actually take the time to listen to patient and look at them at the holistic approach and giving them the time, the compassion, the caring, which is something that I really value. And the reason why I choose pharmacy is that I know that I want to be able to be part of the patient journey for getting better. I love science and I want to actually utilizing knowledge that I've got and expand on the strength that I've got to pursuing the career in pharmacy, to be an expert in medicines. And I think it's so critical to be the safeguarding in terms of any potential medication errors. As with the patient go through, see different sector, different scan, different blood results, and always going to be a loophole somewhere and potentially a mistake which is going to happen. All the healthcare professionals are get constantly bombarded with distractions, and sometimes maybe the doctor are too busy focusing on the clinical diagnosis and forget about the patient, thinking about the renal function, thinking about the dose is appropriate, treating a child instead of treating an adult, and the dose need to be adjusted. Little thing like that, that is when the pharmacist will come in handy. Today is the World Pharmacist Day, and I guess it's for me to reflecting on my career, reflecting on the reasons why I chose pharmacist. To any other pharmacy student, I hope you find this useful, and for other pharmacists that practicing around the world, if you are interested in finding what is it like to be a pharmacist in the UK, got another video that I will put the link on the description below about what a day in the life of a hospital pharmacist. Right now I am working as a locum pharmacist in the UK. I will make sure that I will document my experience as a locum pharmacist as well, so that you will know what it's like to work in different sectors. Why pharmacy? And I guess it's one of the most common questions, actually even interview questions when you go into a job. The people always asking why pharmacy? It's pretty cool to have the ability to serve, to provide service to many people. Who was working as key worker during a global pandemic, and I guess not just pharmacists but other healthcare professionals. The second thing that I like about pharmacy is that there's such flexibility in terms of career choices that you can do. Especially in the UK, you can work in academia to be a pharmacy lecturer. Majority of people like to work as a community pharmacist. There are GP pharmacists working closely with the GP in GP practice, looking at providing medication reviews. Some people pursue further studying to be an independent prescriber. Pharmacists working in prisons, myself again before working in a pharmacy, in an outpatient pharmacy, or pharmacists working in hospital, reviewing patients' medication on the ward, or the pharmacy carrying out research, looking at the clinical trial or developing new treatment regime. There's such a variety of sectors that pharmacists can, after qualifying your degree in pharmacy, that we can get ourselves involved into. There's also really high employability rates for pharmacy students. I think by the time that I graduated, it was 97%. What's the future of pharmacists in the UK? They have to revise over pharmacy degree, and I think by 2026 all of the pharmacy students will have actual qualification. They will have independent prescribers, so they can all be independent prescriber, which is actually much better than what I had. When I started doing my pharmacy degree 9 years ago, there wasn't an option to have the independent prescriber, and you were just really lucky to have that qualification provided by your employer. The third question is that what challenges do I face daily when working as a pharmacist? From my own experience of working in different sectors, in community, in outpatient setting, and in hospital pharmacy. As a pharmacist, wherever you go, you're always going to see that you are constantly bombarded with different tasks. There's always going to different urgency that you have to learn to prioritize what is critical at one moment in time, because again, it's difficult to be able to have the option to be able to clone yourself, or there's not always an option to delegate the task that you are doing. Establish a checklist of what you're going to do, prioritize your days based on that. Going back to the time when I'm working on the ward, there are some days that you are not going to see every single patient, so recapping on your prioritization skills, looking at the patient that critical, the patient that you can actually make a significant intervention first, and then moving on to the next task. Take regular break to avoid burnt out as well. Sometimes you might think that you constantly in a hamster mode, working, and forget to take care of your health as well to avoid burnt out, because if you are burnt out, chances are you are going to get the infection, chances are you're going to get unwell much quicker, your immune system is weakened. So taking time to taking care of your body, you have to be well first in order to work, in order to help others. So rule number one is always taking care of yourself and be healthy. Once you are healthy, once you are fit, then you can help other people. The other challenges that I think as a pharmacist you are facing is that you actually always thinking about the risk management and the environment that you are working. What are the potential errors that could happen with the pressures from the work that we do, the challenges that you might be working with trainees, dispenser, people who haven't had much experience in pharmacy or actually understand the risks associated with medication errors. Constantly analyze the situation, analyze the environment that you are working. Are you working with many competent staff? Are you familiar with the environment? What risk factor could associated with? And what advice do I have for the future pharmacist or pharmacy student during your time at university? If I could go back time, I would make as much connection as possible. I think networking is such important skills in pharmacy, and also you get to be surrounded with like-minded people and constantly learning, and I think there's no better to be able to share the knowledge and to be surrounded by like-minded people. The other thing is that if you are starting a pharmacy degree and you haven't had many experience in pharmacy, then I strongly suggest you to try to apply a volunteer role, help you to familiarize with the working environment, also applying what you learn into practice, having the opportunity to speak to real patients, because I think communication skills, the most important skills in pharmacy to help patients to understand the treatment regime. If you like to work in the UK, maybe it's easy to start with a community setting and then later on look at summer placement and for students in hospital setting, because they are very competitive, so you have to search for them and apply for them as quick as they are releasing. So that's it, that's all for me today. My experience working as a pharmacist, feeling good about myself being a pharmacist. As a thank you to all of the people who has helped me to become where I am today. This is a message to our fellow pharmacists out there. You are doing such amazing work. Here are just some reflections that I have for my journey to become a pharmacist in UK. Thank you very much for listening. If you are a pharmacist student too, I hope you find these videos useful. Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to see you again in the next video. Take care and goodbye.